What's up, guys? It's your boy Trente Jones here, and today we are talking about the Michigan Wolverines. If you want to see more like this, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. Regardless, I would like to jump in and talk about some of the players that I saw jumping off the page for the spring game. So one, Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall. I don't know if there's going to be a number one guy. I think it's going to be a dual running back system. Usually they like to do it that way anyway, but I also think that Justice Haynes might be the main guy out there running. I saw him with a lot of explosive plays, running through people. Jordan Marshall also did such things, but it could be also O-line and, play calling. But I did see Justice Haynes, getting more out of his O-line. Andrew Sprague jumping off the table. I saw Greg Crippen leading his squad, Gio leading. I saw Babalola playing the majority of the game. Definitely saw early in the game he had some spring and pop to him. Evan Link, it looks to be that he is heavy. He looks 330, maybe even 335. So he does look like one of the heavier O linemen out there. So I do think that he might switch over to guard, push him inside to try to become more of a threat in that way. I also saw Caden Strayhorn snapping the ball. That was interesting. It seems to be that we have a lot of tackle bodies moving inside. So that is very interesting, very nice for the overall athletic background of the O-line. I definitely saw that type of business going on. That was very nice to see. When it comes to overall questions of the shakiness or the cohesiveness of the O-line, I feel like the cohesiveness of the O-line was good. I think it could be better. I do think that we are a general young O-line. So this is like that next group. You saw in 2019, we brought in 7 offensive linemen, all in the same class. Obviously, some here left, some stayed. The majority of them did stay. And, with that, if we can keep a group together and they develop and get better and get bigger and stronger, that would be very good. Because, as you know, the longer an O-line stays together, the better they get overall. We had 2021 won that Joe Moore, 2022 won that Joe Moore, 2023 we thought was the best version of the O-line. We didn't even win it. So I do think that staying the core 2, 3, 4 guys in an O-line, all from the same class, it's very good. So them bringing in a lot of O-linemen was nice. It will be harder with NIL to keep linemen, but I do think that overall this group is phenomenal. When it comes to tight ends, I didn't see a lot jump off, but I did see Jalen Hoffman, I almost said Brunson. Jalen Hoffman, he was going stupid. He had like 3 explosives. One was the touchdown, last play of the game. They kept saying Jalen Hoffman's name. That was very nice because when I was at Michigan, he was young. He wasn't getting a lot of touches. We were more of a blocking tight end structure. We had Colston Loveland being that wide receiver tight end type body. So as soon as he left, Jalen started balling clearly because now they're using him in a way as Colston Loveland would be. So it's very nice to see that he's finally getting his opportunity to go out there and show what he can do. As per the QBs and seeing what I would pick personally, I think the battle isn't over. They have another camp-like situation to go through. Bryce was very, very strong. He was throwing ropes. It was nice. It was very nice. I do think that his accuracy the long 40-yard plus, the accuracy down that way could be better. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know if there was miscommunication. I don't know if there was bad play by the wide receiver, because obviously throwing the ball downfield isn't just the quarterback. It's also the wide receiver getting under the ball and catching it. But there weren't a lot of connections really in regular downs, second and long, throw the ball, you know what I'm saying? There weren't a lot of connections down the field. There weren't a lot of shots. Obviously, medium, short, they were crispy, bro. It looked like they were hitting JJ back in the day 2 years ago. Regardless, it was nice. It was nice to see him connect with a lot. down there. He did throw a pick, but it was also just great positioning and catching the ball by the DB. I think it was Lowe. Don't know his first name. I can't remember. I was mostly focusing on the O line, but Lowe, baller. I think he's young, sophomore maybe. Very, very good. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So next, Jaden, very good at first, at the beginning of the game, towards maybe third quarter, then Bryce started taking it over. But Jaden, I thought he was going to be the starter. I was like, oh snap, he's going crazy. I thought he was going to be the main guy this year. Obviously, it was just a spring game and it was just 3 quarters, and I'm not necessarily a quarterback guy, but it just looked like he was connecting more early on, making more deeper throws, not really messing up. And then third quarter, fourth quarter, he started throwing picks and Bryce started heating up around that time. So that's when my mind changed a little bit. So at the beginning of the game, I would say it was Jaden, Bryce at the end. That's why, if I had to base it off of that, that's why I don't think that the QB battle is over. And I think this is the first year in a while where there wasn't a all-time QB, like a white jersey QB. So I think they think that there is a 2 QB battle as of right now. And just logically speaking, if you had to, let the $1 million quarterback or $500,000 or however much Jaden, his NIL was or NIL evaluation was versus your $10 million quarterback, I think you would give your $10 million quarterback a few more chances than the one that you paid less. And, that is unfortunate for Jaden because he was a highly touted QB and we all thought that he was going to be the starter this year until Bryce came with the NIL. But just generally speaking, human nature, you're going to give your guy that you gave more money, more chances. That's just how it is. Even in the NFL, Myles Garrett versus a rookie first rounder, you're going to give Myles Garrett the extra chance because you're paying him more. Obviously, Myles Garrett is a veteran and Bryce is not a veteran, but I digress. All right. Okay, so the next question is, what do you think the record will be? I think the line is 8.5. I think they will be better than last year, dude. I do think that we will be better next year. I don't know if I said that again, but when looking at the schedule, they have a few games on there that are going to be difficult, but I don't think that they will, struggle more than they did last year, considering the QB issues. The QB issues definitely added to the overall situation of the Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan Wolverines start off August 30th with New Mexico. Then they go to Oklahoma and play them there. That's going to be a tough game because Oklahoma plays Texas really hard. They've been putting belt to Texas, and Texas obviously beat us last year. And that's not to say, there's a connection there because, it's always about matchups. You can see this team is really good, but then they go against their kryptonite, obviously, right? Then you play Central Michigan. That's always a fun game to be at because, it's all Michigan. They all come in. Nebraska at Nebraska. That's going to be tough if it's a night game. I don't know if it's a night game or a day game. I've always said night games at Nebraska, that's a tough game, especially when they are good. If they're on a roll and they're playing all home games and we're there, yeah, they're going to come into town ready to fight. Then you get a bye. Then you go October 4th versus Wisconsin at Michigan. That's not going to be the toughest game in the world, but they are a really good team, and NIL has patched some of their holes, so that's going to be a good game. USC, I've always said that USC is going to be a really, really talented team, especially because you have to go over there, going all the way over there. That's going to be tough. And they're going to still feel the sting from last year of trying to, get back from what Kalel did. So yeah, they're going to fight that game out. So I say win versus New Mexico, tough win versus Oklahoma, win versus Central. That's 3-0. At Nebraska, I say we win that. That's 4-0. Bye. Win versus Wisconsin. I don't want to say loss to USC, but if I had to choose, they might lose that game. So I would say win, bye, win. So 5-1 going into Washington. We beat them. 6-1. We beat Michigan State. 7-1. Beat Purdue. 8-1. Bye. Beat Northwestern. 9-1. Dang, we might we might be going into Ohio State week with one loss now that I think about it. Like the only games that I can see like theoretically losing is like Michigan State on some 2021 vibes. I don't even want to say Michigan State, but like Michigan State because we're at Michigan State and it's always a tough game because everybody in Michigan comes. USC, Wisconsin? No, I can't see it. Maybe Nebraska. So I say maybe 3 losses, like at the worst. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, at the worst. I can't count. So you got 12 minus 3, that's 9. So 8-3 going into Ohio State at the very worst, like the worst version of ourselves. I say the worst version of ourselves, we are 7-4 going into Ohio State. And then best version of ourselves, I say 1 loss. So 10-1 going into Ohio State. So I would say the ceiling 10-1, floor 7-3, 8-3. Floor 8-3, ceiling 10-1. And then I say we beat Ohio State, but obviously they're a good team every year. We're playing them at Michigan, so that would give us an advantage there. I would say we win that because, you know, they don't have anybody in the building that's beaten us except maybe a staffer, right? I don't think anybody in that building has beaten us. So I say we win that game too. So I say we go into the playoffs either 11-1 or we're getting a good bowl game, right? So yeah, dude, I think that's our record prediction. 3 toughest Big Ten away stadiums to play at. I'll go based off of this year. Nebraska's really hard to play at. Wisconsin is hard to play at when they're good and their stadium gets into it. And OSU also has a hard stadium as a Michigan player to play at because they hate us. We hate them. The energy's up. Right. And then prediction for the last 2 O-line starters. Now that is difficult because there's just so many great O-line. You got a couple dudes who are really good who could make jumps like Caden Strayhorn. You got Evan Link who could be in there. You got Babalola. I call him Baba in my head. He's good, right? Bobby, he can make a step up. Yeah, I think Luke Hamilton's also pretty good. It's a solid body. He can play guard, maybe even center. Excuse me, maybe even center. So I don't know. I think if I had to make a guess right now, Babalola maybe at left tackle, maybe Phoebe at guard, maybe Link at guard, maybe Caden at guard, maybe. Those are my predictions. I can't say just 1 or 2 people, but I know Babalola should make a run for that tackle position. Then I have a couple guys at guard. And then thoughts on the spring game. Overall, I felt like the defense went crazy. The defense was going out of their mind. I think that our defense will be good this year, and we will lean on the defense a little bit as of right now. QB play will depend on how many points we score, how much we win by. Let's put it like that. QB play will depend on or decide how much we win by. Defense will be good. We need good takeaways. I know we will because we had 2 in this spring game. Ernest is going to lead. Jashawn is going to lead. I know the D-line is crazy still. Our D-line was like stopping everything. I was like, what's going on? We have a lot of young guys, young DNs. I don't know their names. They're all like freshmen and sophomores and transfers. But dog, they all are really tall, really strong, especially against the younger tackles. You could tell that these DNs were like really not exposing, but getting a lot of pressure towards the quarterback, not necessarily getting sacks. There was a couple sacks, but they were getting a lot of pressure. So the D-line looked really good too. And then, yeah, overall, man, I feel like that we are going to have a great season this year. I'm expecting great things. I'm expecting 1 loss maybe we might be undefeated if we're playing good. Not well, honestly, we will have to play great, not good, because every game is like a toss up, right? Like it doesn't matter how good you are, you could always get beat. But I think after it's all said and done, we can theoretically be going into Ohio State undefeated, maybe a fluke loss in there. So I think that they're gonna develop the boys, get the O line right. That's another thing. Depth is key. So even if I didn't say that they're not going to be a starter, they could be a starter later in the season because people get hurt. It's a violent game. So knock on wood, because I hope everybody stays healthy. But you remember in 2023, Zach got hurt and I had to come in. You know what I'm saying? So having depth is very important. And this isn't even the final team. We could get transfers. We could get people leaving. People get poached. NIL, man, it's changing the game. But if you have any more questions, hit me up in the DM. Hit me in the comments. Hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe. I love y'all boys. Appreciate y'all supporting the content. We'll talk soon.